now, if you want to go wash your hands while I start the show, now you can do it, now that you're recording.
Okay. It's still a little groggy coming in for you, but I'm going to fix that.
Because the music's on, Joe. Shut up.
Okay.
The music's about to go off, and I'm going to open the show. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Do it live.
Fuck it. Fucking thing sucks. I wrote this jingle. That's why we can talk over.
Am I muted for you, Jake? Can you hear me,
Guys,
Jake?
that's right. Welcome back to Jacob V Weekly. We want to start, as always, by reminding you to reach out to Caddyshack of New Hamel, Illinois. My dear friends over at the Caddyshack, rescuing hundreds upon approaching thousands of cats, small family operation. Caddyshack, New Hamel, Illinois. Check them out on Facebook. I think is the best place still, though they do have their own website, and we're working on content all the time to kind of grow their mission and their message. Next, the only way to support this show is on patreon.com/JacobV. You get exclusive content drops every week. It's $1 a week, and you get all kinds of goodies from us. New exclusive content, old archival sort of gems you can't find anywhere else. All kinds of stuff. Bonus episodes of this show. I did 4 Siesta Key Pods when I was there. So sometimes we'll have something that's more informal or doesn't really have a home. So whatever. We're also testing a new feature. If you're watching us live right now or you're catching up on video later, we've updated the phone number to the show so that we can take text messages live while we're on the air. It's just which I know, cutting edge stuff, but just something we've been asked about before. So we wanted to open our hearts to that as an option. So if you're watching this live, you want to participate, you can text the number on the screen at any point, 314-626-4208. If we're not live, you can still text that number and we'll get it. And if it's content you want to contribute to a future episode of the show, we will use it thusly. Just checking everything here. Joe, it's kind of crazy. Everything's up and running after this fiasco we've been through.
We've been working on this for 2.5 hours.
And it's really great because I can see you, I can hear you, I can see me. We're actually live streaming, which the past couple episodes we have not done because it just seems easier just to focus on one detail. But I am really enjoying this. I think I'm going to open my goddamn show notes, though, in a different device because I like babysitting the stream over here. No Antics is a band that I'm in. We have a new full-length album that we are working on finishing. We also have 6 hot and ready singles of unadulterated femme grime live on the Spotify and wherever you get your music digitally. Lots and lots of stuff to check out there. We also just played an amazing show the day before New Year's Eve with Blonde Guru and Middle Class Fashion at the Off-Broadway, and we have farmed all of the content from that. Joe, I got all of the audio as stems so I can mix it and shit. We got video. We got the very talented Matt Close of Odd Soul in the Sound made us some video content here. It's really, really good. We got another... I'm getting notifications about new followers, which is great. I love to see that. Welcome aboard. Also, yes, there she is. Amber. Shout out, baby girl. We also got, I'm in a band called Blinded by Stereo that was just in Dayton, Ohio. And then back here at, the old Rock House here in St. Louis, promoting and selling copies of my first ever vinyl LP record, the first one I've ever participated in. No, well, I mastered some content for a 7-inch for an artist one time, but I didn't perform on it. This, I played all the keyboards. Both these bands are really great, and they have tons of stuff to offer you. So that's, everyone knows me as a music dude. That's mostly what I'm doing musically right now. But Joe and I have some new stuff in the works, so stay tuned. Nothing really to announce yet, but things will be taking shape. Joe, at any point, if you wanted to just validate that I even exist. I mean, I couldn't get you to shut up instead of plugging your own shit in earlier, and now you're stonewalling me.
We really I mean, this has really been, this has been
it's
very
great.
successful.
I think it's an accomplishment. The fact that it's even happening, people are interacting. We're getting text messages on the show line. People are following we did rebuild our Facebook presence after, you remember when I got robbed by those Nigerians?
Yeah, you've fixed up since then. You've really,
so we have a Jacob V page that covers things that I do individually, musically, and also anything related to the podcast. So we didn't have a podcast specific Facebook page, and my old music page went down with my old Facebook because I got robbed by some Nigerians, which is not a euphemism. That's what the phone number pinged. There was a big scandal.
You still haven't revealed to me how that happened.
I'm not entirely sure how it happened, but I think it's related to a former student of mine was blowing up that Facebook account, trying to get me to participate in some kind of, it sounded like a weird pyramid scheme or something. And I think it may be related to that because it all started at the same time. But what happened is they took my Facebook hostage, and they were using it to try to sell puppies. But I figured out there were actually no puppies. It was just they wanted more people to interact with them on Facebook so they could steal more Facebook accounts.
Interesting.
And somehow they also stole $1,100 out of my bank account.
Wow.
Using Zelle, which is a proprietary bank instant transfer app thing that I had never otherwise used before that.
I can't believe they got that far.
It was really weird.
It's bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
$1,100. Did you ever get that money back? Did you file a dispute? Did you get that money back?
Yeah, but everybody that I ever talked to at US Bank that looked at the shit going on, it was very obvious to them that it was some kind of a fraudulent, hacky kind of business going on, because the name that they were sending themselves money to wasn't even a recognizable name. It was 5 different names, but with numbers in it and shit. And so they were always yeah, that's obviously something going on or whatever. And then, but the investigation or whatever, it was inconclusive as to, because what they did is I think they used my Facebook information to compromise my email, or it could have started with the email because it was a Yahoo email, which had been included in a breach of some kind. This Facebook is from 2005. This was my original Facebook account. You know what I mean? And, but they use that data to hack all kinds of stuff, actually. So I think they use that email address to get into the Zelle to send themselves my money.
Oh, right on. Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe they deserved the money for working
right
so hard
on
to get it.
Well, that's the thing. The fact that I really want to write a movie. We talked about this on the show, did we not?
No.
I really want to write a movie called The Nigerian for Liam Neeson.
Oh, yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah, the whole movie is a guy working really hard from home, though. He's at home with his family and his kids, and you can tell he's working on something on his computer really, really hard. And then, meanwhile, somebody's messing up Liam Neeson's life by stealing his identity. And then he tracks him down, and you have these cut scenes of this beautiful scene at home with this guy's playing with his kids, and he's checking his email, and he's drinking tea, and it's a lovely, sunlit morning. And then you cut to Liam Neeson figuring out who is stealing my identity. And then he kicks in the door, and that's when the two scenes merge, and Liam Neeson beats the shit out of this guy for stealing his Facebook. Well, Joe left. I specifically said, don't fucking get off camera at any point for any reason, and he's gone. So we'll keep going. I did officially, since our last episode, like I said I would, start Jacob V's favorite songs on Spotify for January of 2023. Let's just look. Let's see what's in there. I was listening to some of this tonight at Trivia at the Blue Wood. This coming week, if you want to see me in person, Wednesday and Thursday of next week, I'll be at Blue Wood Brewing, 6 o'clock both nights, bingo and trivia, respectively. That's January 11th and 12th, I believe. God, I can't believe that's already coming up. So
start the Patrico stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to get there, Joe. Don't scream at me. Later in the month, January 20th, No Antics will be opening up a big show at the Duck Room for Crystal Lady's annual birthday show. Put that down on your calendars. Somebody said to me they want a calendar of gigs. That was probably our friend Za, who's been on the show before. Gig calendar. So, Joe, you got to get to work on a gig calendar for me.
Calendar.
I need a calendar for my gigs. For my, I was supposed to start this at my friend Ken's memorial. I remember taking a bunch of email addresses of people that wanted to get on my mailing list that I don't have. So, I don't know. Joe, you're right. Let's go right to the source here. Biggest news happening locally this week seems to be that Tony Patrico is off of the Rizzuto show after allegations of inappropriate DMs. That's the exact headline from the RFT. I don't expect you to know who all those people are, but we have like a really misogynistic morning shock jock radio show here that has been going on for a long, long time in some form. It used to be the Woody and Rizzuto show. There was this guy Woody who moved to Los Angeles, and he's on the radio still with some sidekick he took with him, and he's equally kind of a dirtbaggy like these guys. But Tony Patrico has left the station amid ongoing allegations that he messaged fans with sexually suggestive comments. The reason this was so shocking to us is because it totally makes sense. Because you know what I mean? Because part of this show, part of their ongoing content.
The show is on The Point, right?
It's on The Point, which is like a alt rock radio. It's kind of it's aging a little bit. It's not as cool as it once was, but and there's definitely a scene of people that kind of. I've gone to their Mardi Gras party. It's lovely. Mm-hmm. At bottomless absolute cocktails, brother. But they have this recurring segment on their show called Real or Fake, and it's exactly what it sounds like. They have listeners send in pictures of their own breasts to determine if they're real or fake, and they vote on them throughout the week, and they get scored on whether they're correct or not, and it's this whole ongoing bracket. So the reason I mention that is not just is that kind of questionable and problematic to be doing in 2023, but this is kind of the context in which Tony was using his privilege of managing these interactions for the show to also kind of
I'm looking through these messages.
Are you looking at them? How would you describe the tone of the messages? This is the guy from the radio show texting female fans of the show.
Well, from the articles, like, they're making it sound like, oh yeah, what is sleaze, what a blah, blah, blah. But like, I'm looking through these and I'm like, this is like classic Tinder hookup, like, moves here. But, and
some background. I know that he got divorced a couple of years ago. He was married and has 2 small kids. And then a couple of years ago, he got divorced. And this is right after he lost a whole bunch of weight because he had like gastric bypass or something. And so his, it seems like something that was happening also while he was married, and nobody's really been able to determine, because this has been going on for like 15 years. Because that's the thing. The article here says that he's been a member of the show since 2014, but that's actually not entirely the start there. That's probably when he became a full-time cast member. But at that time, that's when they broke off and became the Rizzuto show, and Woody moved to LA with that other broad, and which is fine. I'm glad she can vote. And the so that's when that show kind of started as that show. Patrico's been around a lot longer than that as a helper and runner or whatever on the former show. And there's been people I've been talking to on Facebook and stuff that are just like, yeah, he's been doing this for like 15 years. So I love that. I love that that's all happening. It's kind of also my reaction was, oh, so this is something we could have outed in 2017, right? 2018 when we were doing this kind of thing. It's like we didn't get Whole Foods until just a couple years ago, and now we're just now getting around to canceling radio.
Yeah,
like
now St. Louis has
guys.
its own cancel.
Yeah.
It's like an advertisement. The point.
Yeah, it could be on Jungle Law. Anyway,
right.
I'm just checking the show messages here. I got so much stuff. We need what we need is somebody who could do some things around here.
Wait, okay. Are you getting a lot of messages right now?
No, I was just making sure I hadn't missed any because my phone had gone to sleep. I plugged it back in, so it won't do that. Really good.
It's, what's weird is like, it seems pretty generally like, and this is also like St. Louis. This is St. Louis's first big cancel and like
a minute for, it's, you get some of them. Who I was just listening to the other day is that, you remember Jamie Ullman?
Like the Allman Brothers?
No. Later than that. But when I lived in Dogtown, there was some guy on the radio in the morning on one of the conservative talk stations.
Oh, I think I know this. Yes.
And he obviously was drunk one night and tweeted something about how he was going to shove a poker in David Hogg's ass. David Hogg was one of the Parkland kids who went on a TV tour saying, hey, we need gun control. And
also just classic
Jamie Ullman's
St. Louis,
a big
like comment.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Oh, yeah. He was definitely red-faced drunk down the street at Stan's, probably at the cop bar.
Yeah, like a Busch Light in hand.
Yeah, that bar is crazy, by the way. Anyway, he got fired for that, for drunk tweeting that, because that's inappropriate, because David Hogg was at the time a minor.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he's back on the air. And he was a big deal. So it was a big problem. He couldn't work for a long time. And then he was, he had a TV show and everything. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Probably just I don't know. That seems like a weird cancel nowadays. Man, it's just like it just feels like so like moment, like it's momentary. It's time and place. I'm looking through these messages because they posted on Twitter. You can find like the messages.
So there's a Twitter page called Hell No Patrico, I think.
That's great. Yeah.
Well, like so it's like some guy started it to kind of consolidate and amplify this pattern of women that are coming forward with these screenshots of these text messages.
How long ago did this just come out? This Hell No Patrico character?
It started late last month, I think, probably after they were already on their holiday break for the show.
Okay, so they were kind of like they were warming up to this whole thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think the reason that the announcement came when it did is because that was going to be the first, that next day when the points announcement just said Tony Patrico is no longer affiliated. The show will resume as scheduled at 6 a.m. tomorrow. And that was like yesterday or a couple of days ago. I think that was their first episode back live for the year. And so I think they probably were working on it and talking about it and trying to figure it out. And they had to make a decision about whether to let him come back from the holiday break.
Yeah.
Is probably why it happened when it did, is what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
Damn, a hot ass Team Riz member today. Yeah, it's kind of like in the situation where you're going to be trusting enough to send pictures of your boobs to your favorite radio show. The last thing you need is that guy commenting a whole bunch on how he. Well,
but he makes an effort. He like makes an effort to like warm up the conversation, and I'm going to be biased here because I like to be very open about this exact thing happened to me. No, I'm saying it. Can I? It's my choice.
Oh,
come on.
Okay, as long as you say, my name is Joe, and this is my choice.
This is Joseph, my choice, and I was fired from my job for like exactly this kind of activity. And I think what like frustrates me about it, and this isn't just like in defensiveness of like my instance, like, but I mean, this guy was obviously, there must have been like 9 or 10 girls here, but like, I think there really is something to like, when you create a company culture or whatever that like endorses, like, first of all, like kind of like sexual aggressions and like,
well, that's
or
the
in
thing.
general violence, or like kind of like or I think any job in which it's like you're kind of fighting for your life in any way, you know, it's like, or not fighting for your life, but just like high stress environments where like the authority at the job doesn't really have your back on anything. Like you're going to create these types of like environments, but this was obviously instigated just by the culture of the company. You know, it's like hard rock dicks radio.
But also, if
dicks,
you listen to this show has always been kind of off-putting if you're sensitive to any kind of language that they use. Like they have a segment called "Bitch Be Trippin'" about and like they have like ongoing like inside jokes on the show about like women can't drive and you know, it's like it's a very misogynistic energy anyway. And like you said, he's not Matt Lauer. He's not locking people in an office. You know, he's already texting fans of the show about pictures of their own breasts or whatever. So the stage was set for miscarriage here, for sure. Sure. You know what I mean? Yeah. And also he's not like a super like well-educated, like cultured, sensitive dude. I mean, he's on the radio at 5 a.m. every day. And then he's at hockey games and he's like a stereotypical like radio guy. Like I mean, you know, I'm glad it wasn't worse than it's been. It's like but apparently it was like kind of an open secret for a long time.
I just think the move on the point to like fire him like seems just like really like the problem I have with it is
weird.
That, yes, it's like
you know what, that was in this RFT article. Yeah, culturally you wouldn't expect them to be so aggressive.
No, culturally I would expect them to be so aggressive, but I think it's so weak of the organizations that are condoning and kind of like appreciating all of this other activity, and then some of it gets like a little bit real, and it's kind of like Marilyn Manson. Like, you know, everybody was freaking out that he was he's really a violent guy. It's like, have you listened to any of his music? Have you like, so many of the fans were hoping for him to actually be like that, you know, like that's the dream, but like, it's so weak because it makes sense that they would fire him. Cause that's what we do nowadays. We immediately fire them once any bad attention.
It wasn't his show. So it's like, what do you even say if you're a guy on that show? And then one of them just died a couple years ago, or maybe he died this year. But
and like, how do you make a response like, we don't condone those practices?
It's also
absolutely
they couldn't
do.
get into
like, what are
any
you talking
specifics
about
at all and on the air, and so they were just said it's a personal issue, and the last couple of days have been really, really hard. But there's nothing really we can specify or
it was obviously just like whatever. Like,
and I would totally believe that the hosts of the show didn't really see it coming. If it was something that HR was dealing with over the holiday break.
Well, and who knows? And who knows what the other hosts are doing? This is probably just what's been caught, but like, because he has so many people he's messaged, it's probably like,
he's the one that manages that though.
Oh, here we go. A little text in. It was actually his employees, to the point where he was harassing, not just wanting them to send pictures. Here we go. So here's the take. It's not necessarily that it was the fans. It was the employees that were trying to move up, you know, so he used his authority in the place of work. I think that probably is not great. And I agree. He was
like sexting employees of the place too.
Yeah, so what we're seeing is people who are coming forward.
Girl.
And like,
it's a no girl. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just got this texted in from a fan.
A fan of the point.
Well, it's actually going to be our future producer here.
Oh, well, I hope they know something about pushing buttons, because it's a lot of buttons up in this bitch today. Let me tell you, girl. It's that's right. You could text us live at 314-626-4208, or even if it's not live, who cares?
This is great. Just a little bit more.
I'd love to talk about the story I was talking about. Whenever
just a little bit more from our source here.
Loving it.
Can you hear me, Jake?
I can hear you.
these women were afraid to come forward because they were under, like, because when you're working as an intern at the show and you want to go into show business, it's not necessarily going to look great to like try to out one of your big selling people. You know, the podcast was obviously really big, probably because it was so raunchy. It got a lot of ears, but it's the fact that they were nervous to come forward. Like, I think that's actually a really good point. I don't think I was in no authority at my former job.
Yeah.
And I think that
very different. That was the thing that was immediately obvious to me about this being so problematic was that it's like he's supposed to be the kind of like the safe, trustworthy contact that the fans are using to participate in what is totally on its own a very problematic segment, the real or fake thing where they're collecting photos. And I don't think they they do share these. You can also, they post them anonymously with the consent, of course, but that's how you consent, is just by participating. But every listener of the show can go look at all of these cleavage pics that they get from fans, and to do anything other than communicate as an official member of the show with that contact point is inappropriate. And that's what he was doing, was like, oh, I don't want you to think I'm looking for show content. I just want to see that ass. I'm like, Jesus, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
I think it's important that like
absolute miscarriage
we
of authority.
speak to the men of St. Louis that like, you know, because this was a pretty common practice. Like, I mean, especially in like dating and hookup culture, like it's so, you know,
what are you talking about?
Like when I was on Tinder before I was with my wonderful fiance,
your lovely fiance,
I felt like I would like lose the attention of, people when I would talk to them. If I wouldn't like, it didn't feel forced. It just felt like if I were to ask about, you know, basic life questions, it felt like people wouldn't respond and like it was just very boring. So like a lot of this hookup culture, like kind of has trained or groomed men to like become like hypersexual in their immediate.
Well,
like,
that's the overall effect of certain aspects of social media for sure, is that there's a lot of impulsive, aggressive, problematic speech that happens in a way that is super direct and immediate, and also very easy to just fly out there, you know, with or without any level of pre-thought. You know what I'm saying? So yes, I mean, it's just like what they talk about with younger people having this problem developing their own romantic relationships when they, you know, start watching pornography so young, and how crazy pornography on the internet can be. And we don't have to talk about that, but that's definitely kind of a similar thing, that it's like, well, if you're really looking to elicit immediate reaction from somebody in a dating app, small talk may not be the best way to appeal to their more impulsive nature. So it would be better to just throw out something that you think is going to ignite impulsivity in them to get the response that you want, as opposed to saying, hey, where'd you go to school? What do you do? You know
also,
what I mean?
Super ballsy move for him to use his Facebook, like with the picture of him and his wife on it.
Oh, and his wife, and then his girlfriend.
Wild.
And
but I mean, I'm not, again, like, I think this is something that this is something that I think the point, I wish the point would take a little bit of responsibility, like for first of all,
I hope they cancel that segment. Is that segment still happening? I can look this up.
Well, like, and I always knew this would happen. Like, if the point actually, like, you know, listening to the point, that if they actually were put on the spot to like really be questioned about any of this stuff, you know, that they would just cave and like, you know, totally, not, you know, they'd be like, we're not like that. It's like, you absolutely are. And so it's just so irritating that, like, you know.
And I wonder he was all over their imaging and stuff too. Like you're listening to the Rizzuto show, like that stuff.
Yeah.
Real or fake is still happening. It is on the Rizzuto show website right now.
But this is something
real
that
or fake results.
This is something that our source says, she said that a big problem is for those who didn't come forward have to live with the guilt of not outing him. So like those who do out him get like the respect of saying, oh, I put a stop to this, where those who didn't, it can be this response, what we're doing right now, you and me, Jake, it can be an act of shaming them for not coming forward.
Yeah, that's hard.
And so like that's a really good point. But I think it's also like not everybody can win here. Like I think it is your responsibility if something made you uncomfortable to come forward. I think I'm really firm about that. We can talk about ifs all day, but I think it's really important that like there's enough support nowadays that
I think
come
it's new,
forward,
though.
you will be met with an.
I really think that support has really increased and been a lot more obvious in the past 5 or 6 years. I really don't think 10 years ago even that victims felt like they could express themselves the same way they may feel like they can now. And there's a lot of people that it's still tragically underreported, a lot of this stuff. I mean, we act like we get so surprised, but it's happening right now somewhere that we just haven't heard about yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? God forbid.
Yeah. I just think there's enough.
Which I'm not for. You know what I did today? I checked myself on something. I was going to show a picture of a friend of mine to a lady that he works with that I thought was funny, but I felt like it was inappropriate to do. So I stopped myself and I just described it instead.
Oh, well, it was very thoughtful of you, Jake. Good
oh
for
my
you.
God. I'm a fucking angel from heaven. I deserve
You should pull up that picture right now so we can all see.
It's really good. I'll send it to you later. No, it's fine. But it wasn't even like a totally inappropriate picture. It was just like my friend went through a P90X phase in college. And so I have a really great mirror selfie that he sent one of our group chats of just how ripped he was at the time, like mid P90X. And so I was like, oh my God, this is so funny. This is his picture when he calls me. But I stopped myself and I said, you know what? I'm not going to show her this picture because she didn't say, hey, can I see a photo of my colleague's abdomen without, it was unsolicited. So I said, you know what? I'm going to keep it to me and I'm going to put it in his casket at his funeral when he returns to glory. That's a thing. Have you ever heard of people putting things in people's caskets at their open casket funeral?
Yeah, like,
Raisinets.
That's weird. I've never seen that before, man.
Oh my God. I think so. We've talked about this on the show before, but I'm just thinking about it again, that I think it's really something specific to this one branch of my family. Because every time I've ever seen it, it's been at funerals that my Aunt Pat is involved in, setting up. And shout out to Aunt Pat. She put a Diet Coke in my cousin Amy's casket.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's really sweet. But
and then I remember when her dad died, he had Raisinets. No. It was a closed can of Diet Coke.
Right on.
Yeah, it's just her little Egyptian touch, I think, to she wants them to have their favorite thing as they enter the ground.
That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah, this has been great.
Well, that's great. Joe, yeah. Moving on.
Yeah, can you give me some background on this guy with the face tattoo?
Yeah. Hold on, I'm losing it. Your system has run out of application memory.
Oh,
me. So let me shift to a different thing. So you're talking about Gabrielle Union. Is that what we're going to talk about?
No, we're talking about the guy with the face tattoo.
Oh,
Colombian influencer regrets his messy face tattoo just weeks after the World Cup.
You're telling me I sent you this?
You sent me that. I would never give a shit about that.
I don't know. I must have been like super hammered sending this deal.
Well, read what's written there while I go grab a La Croix from the fridge behind me.
Okay. All right. So we're regretting a tattoo. Let me see here. Let's see the tattoo. I guess I got to see this. I must have been super hammered when I messaged this to Jake. That's so funny. I've never done that before, where I just can't remember. Let's pull this up. Who were I don't even know. I didn't even follow soccer. I don't even know the two teams that were. Okay, yeah. The Colombian influencer regrets his messy face tattoo just weeks. It says Messi. So it's not just like we're describing. It actually says Messi on his forehead. MESSI. That's very strange. I guess Messi must have been a player's last name. Let me see. Messi tattoo. Regrets. No regrets. Argentina. Okay. After Argentina FIFA World Cup, he regrets it now. Lionel Messi, right? Lionel Messi. Man, I would never do that. I know a guy who got Jack White's entire face tattooed on his arm, and then Jack White walked into the store. Like, you remember Killer Vintage down on Delmar before they closed it? There used to be 2 locations.
Killer Vintage is closed?
Yeah, Killer Vintage in Delmar. Remember, it used to be right there it used to be connected to the pageant, and it used to be connected to the pageant. And Jack White, some guy was in there with like this huge face tattoo of Jack White, and Jack White walked in and he just was like frozen the whole time. And then when he turned, it revealed that he had Jack White's face on his arm and didn't say a thing the whole time. He was just totally chill. It was so funny. That's a story by Jimmy Griffin, if Jimmy Griffin's listening.
Oh, that's weird. I know him.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, don't get somebody else's face tattooed on your body.
Yeah, that's not a good topic.
Just at all.
Yeah, he regretted it. Boom, done.
So you're saying you were drunk in the woods and you sent me a screenshot of this.
Check this out.
You don't even care. Good. This is more interesting. We've started doing this thing where we're such good journalists that we don't even type shit anymore. We're just posting screenshots from Instagram into our show prep. This one is Gabrielle Union says she felt comfortable cheating in her first marriage because she paid all the bills. This was all over my Instagram feed this week, and so I thought it was a good point of debate.
Gabrielle Union is an actress.
Yeah, everyone knows who Gabrielle
She's
Union
African
is.
American actress.
She was in Bring It On.
Oh, really?
She was one of the cheerleaders in Bring It On, and they were
she like a main cheerleader?
Yeah, she was also Martin Lawrence's sister in Bad Boys 2.
She was in my favorite movie, Bad Boys 2. That's
Bad Boys 2.
She's my girlfriend's mother-in-law. Sorry, my girlfriend's mother's favorite movie.
Remember she had that white pantsuit on?
Yeah, that's this classic look, early 2000s.
Is this her first husband in this picture? It must be.
Yes.
He's kind of a big guy.
He's an NFL player. He's a former NFL.
Oh, he was in the NFL?
This is from Fox, the most reliable news source. Like my dad before me, whoever has the most gets to do whatever the hell they want is what I thought, Union said. The Bring It On star also said that she wished she had more guilt about her cheating. That is so did she had it's really funny. I think we forget that in like the real world, like, you know how you show up to things like John Mulaney has that bit about, he talks about Mick Jagger at SNL.
I just listened to that on TikTok today. I swear to God.
What?
That exact John Mulaney bit where Mick Jagger will just say Diet Coke and people bring him Diet Coke.
Well, he was talking about how he had to write a song with Mick Jagger, and that was a surreal experience because he sat and experienced what it was like writing a song with Mick Jagger, and he's like, what rhymes with? He just you're like, this is how the Rolling Stones songs are made, just with rhyming, and it's like all doesn't matter. But I think we forget that there are some celebrities who have like huge PR teams who cover everything they say, and people who probably make even less money than Gabrielle Union, who have big PR teams working for them, like saying, I don't know if you should word this tweet this way.
And this also sounds like something
Gabrielle. Huh?
This sounds like something she's talking about too, like almost like that Red Table Talk shit where they it's like, let's go on a podcast and just talk mad shit about how we're terrible to be married to.
Well, you have to remember that there's no standards. So there are also people like Gabrielle Union who have no PR team and are literally just celebrities who are just walking around and making their own decisions before running it by anybody and saying saying just total Fox News material like this. Like, well, you see, there you have it. Now, if you're a man, you make money, you can cheat. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, but it also is challenging the gender thing with
right.
And here's the thing: if they were in an agreed, ethical, poly relationship, you know what I mean, a polyamorous union, or whatever. I mean, I would never choose to live like that. I don't get it. I don't get enough time with my wife as it is, and I know she feels the same way. That's mostly what we talk about, is how to spend more quality time together. You could see my wife at trivia next week at Bluewood, for example. She's going to be keeping score.
That is so great.
For me in my life, that kind of poly thing is not for me. It's not something I've ever been interested in. It's not even something I really feel like I have the time or the need for. But if that was a mutual choice that they made together, that's totally their freedom. It doesn't sound like that. When you call it cheating, it sounds like it wasn't within the agreed confines. And this also gets really crazy.
So was she making most of the money before? So he was bringing in what? Just like 1 million as an NFL star? And because she was bringing in 2,
he
she's
could have been
the breadwinner?
retired. I mean, because she's younger than him, and you retire younger from the NFL than you do from Hollywood.
Okay, so whoever has the most. So because she's richer.
Said her first marriage because she paid all the bills.
I actually want to unpack this situation. So
this is why I screenshotted it. This is from
the reason why, in my opinion, why most men wouldn't be smart to agree with this is because you have 2 non-homekeeping people working. Well, that's the other thing too. Celebrity careers.
Yeah, we cannot separate this from. Neither one of these people were washing the dishes themselves.
Exactly, and so
neither one of these people were mowing the lawn.
Right. So she was coming home to somebody who wasn't doing the laundry, and saw him making only 1 million when she was making 2. And was like, no, I get to cheat. It's like, well, maybe if he was doing more around the house and doing his part to make up that extra million, and I think that's why that wouldn't be very smart for a man who makes a lot of money. Like if his wife's like taking care of his family and like feeding everybody and she isn't working, that is like that's like, if you really log that time, the job never ends. And I think even me who's like a partial woman hater, I'm just kidding. Even me who's like cynical about
cheating, if she couldn't prove that he wasn't cheating, you know what I mean? Maybe it was a do your own thing that she didn't, and maybe she's expressing that she regrets maybe not thinking more about that choice earlier. But yeah, I do agree that I do have more questions than answers, especially because women of this age right now, a lot of them are attracted to polyamory. How old is Gabrielle Union? She's got to be 40, right? By now, she's been famous her whole goddamn life. When did Bring It On come out? Yeah. Feel free to text the show at 314-626-4208 if you know anything about Gabrielle Union, dysfunctional marriage.
Yeah, we'll take like
oh my god, Gabrielle
messages.
Union, she's 50.
What?
Oh hell. She's an angel.
What was she playing a high schooler at 30?
That's what. Well, absolutely.
Okay, here we go. We have a comment here.
What?
We have it's entitlement, old school style thinking. She's married to Dwayne Wade. I bet it's this comment says, I bet it's okay for him to cheat. Now, I think she said she felt entitled to infidelity. Right. And you know what? I think the other thing we're not unpacking is there may be a deeper disagreement that might have happened that we're not privy to, where she may have caught him doing something a little but can't prove it. That's what I was saying. When you weren't listening to me, that's what I was saying. I actually only hear myself through this headphone set. So I read your lips, Jake. Wow. But here's the thing. I have always loved her, and I think she's talented and beautiful, and I think she was an important example of the kind of visibility we need more of in Hollywood. You know what I mean? I've always said that. Yeah, I've always said that too. Here's the thing. Nothing against her. And she's also choosing to talk about this, which I would probably advise against if she asked me as her friend, which I am. But agreed. Yeah, but also, they're no longer married, it doesn't look like. And
It's obviously not the mindset I would choose to live my life with, but I don't know. I'd love to hear I'd love to hear what her ex-husband thinks.
I'd love to hear what her ex-husband thinks, but more importantly, I'd love to hear what Andrew Tate has to say.
Hold on. Before we get, has the ex-husband said anything? I don't know his name.
Okay, I don't think there was a response. Let me see. It doesn't say in the news. I feel like
What's
that would be a huge
though?
update if there was a response.
Can you just Google his name?
What was
my hair's doing this thing where it's kind of irritating me, and so
what was
too much.
What was the former husband's name?
I need you to find out his name and then Google that name in the news so we can see if he has a comment.
Dwayne Wade. We got Dwayne Wade from 2014. Chris
Dwayne
Howard
Wade
was his former husband.
Whose former husband?
Her former husband.
Oh, but no, I'm talking about her first husband. Yeah, I want to know if he said anything. Is he dead? I hope he's not dead. I really don't like
marriage with Chris Howard. Yeah. No, I don't think he had a response.
But who's Chris Howard?
Who is Chris Howard? I don't know who he is. Let's see.
Well, let's find out then, Joe. Let's do it together.
American football. She's got a football. She's on football.
Yeah, she likes a football guy. I would. Oh my God, are you kidding? If I was her, it would be exclusively NFL. Starters.
I only date starters. That's so funny. That's such a bold
and you know
thing
what?
to say.
And you know what? If he's got a Super Bowl ring, I'll sign a prenup.
Oh man.
You're not listening to me.
I'm listening to you.
You don't give a fuck. Who is Chris Howard, and has he said anything about his ex-wife?
He didn't say anything. There was no response. That would be a huge deal if he responded. I didn't look. I said Chris Howard responds to Gabrielle Union, and there was nothing.
Chris Howard, American football, 75. He is retired. Oh, he's handsome. He's probably not a public dude.
No. He's probably enjoying his retirement, not having to watch gameplay for 6 hours a day and wake up.
Well, he's lucky. He's lucky if he can even recognize where he is, because he could have CTE.
That's what I think is so funny about like the football, like the sports, like marrying women, like the people who marry like pro athletes. I'm like, dude, like I don't even know how they met, because like I don't even trust
like, how do you meet a pro athlete?
Because you have to marry for the money, because they're never around. Do you understand how much work? It's so much more work than it probably. Pro athletes probably put in more work to their careers as millionaires than any millionaire.
But also, let me just walk you through the psychology of this for a little bit. If I am some kind of a person, single person, eligible person, and I fall in love with a professional athlete, I probably fall in love in part with aspects of their life or their personality that make
We're
them
talking about a woman who thinks it's okay to cheat if she makes more than her husband.
That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who marry pro athletes, because I do think that's something you sign up for because you want to build a life with somebody and support that aspect of them as a person. You know what I mean? If you end up in a romance with somebody that's that career driven and that successful, the last thing you want to do is derail that. You know what I mean? Because that's part of what you like. They would obviously change as a person if they lost all of that or gave it all up in some way.
Hold on. We might have a joiner. We might have a joiner on the show. We'll see.
I don't even know what that means. I don't even know how that would work.
How do we know how that would work?
The instructions are text us. I don't know how we would talk to somebody.
We could phone it in to the microphone. What do you think?
Yeah, if you want to put them on speakerphone and hold it up to your microphone, and then you have to own that on your spirit that you did that. They say I don't want to do it. I have stage fright. This sounds like I'm about to get canceled. Tell them to text us anything they want, but I'd rather not try to phone. We're not going to do any more tech stuff today, and we're certainly not going to do it live.
Oh, thank God.
You know how big I am in Switzerland? No Antics is so hot in Switzerland right now, I may fly us over just to play in Switzerland.
I always joke about that. Like, those people are so lit for listening to lame Midwestern bands.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how they do it. Or maybe it's like maybe Switzerland's got a server farm and people are using frog tunnel so they can. You know what I mean?
But it feels like. Anyway, moving on.
Maybe Webster University has a campus there because I think half of us in this band went there because that's just like that's what you do is like a queer creative from the suburbs around here. You go to Webster University, School of the Nuns originally.
That's actually they all go to Webster and they all figure out they didn't need to.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly the case because nothing that
they lose all of their talent trying to practice jazz.
Well, I'm glad I didn't go that route.
I want to talk about.
I'm not really a jazz guy.
There's one topic we need to talk about before we move on to global topics.
We're in no hurry.
I'm pulling it up here so you can see. Come on.
You know what? We're doing really good. I'm getting 60 FPS. I'm only using 23% of my CPU, dog.
We measure our success in the show based on how much bandwidth we absorb.
My bandwidth is good, dog. And over here, my performance, you wouldn't even know. I'm not even tapping it on the audio machine, G.
All right, Jake, check this out.
This is such an underrated.
This is from The Guardian.
You know, I don't like
Missouri. Missouri is kind of famous for its death penalty. It's so famous that they shot Gone Girl in Missouri because Missouri still has the death penalty, and the death penalty was a really big deal to boomers. Boomers had really weird interests. I suppose you could.
Well,
say
they were also the first generation of serial killers.
Well, you could say that, but we have more values that seem to matter to greater populations of people. But boomers really, really cared about concerts being free. They thought music should be free, which is
that was weird. That's what made Peter Green crazy.
Yeah, it's they just had weird they were fighting a war that didn't matter. That was the war that was created for gun manufacturers, but they were we should see concerts for free, and they didn't have YouTube, so I don't blame them, But,
they like their guns though. They're the first generation of serial killers because they were all poisoned by lead as children. It was pumped into the air.
True. That's exactly
true. And they
would
put their mouth on the exhaust pipe and go straight to Jesus.
That's exactly true.
And so of course they were upset about the death penalty because most of them were at risk of being put to death for their serial murders. I mean, that makes perfect sense to me. The first generation of serial killers is going to have a disproportionate interest in the death penalty because they're trying not to get the chair.
The same way I'm concerned about cancel culture. I'm hey, hold on.
You know what?
That seems harsh.
I've been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2, and you really have to toe the line because they track your karma throughout your excursion. I'm 49% in. And into the game, and also my karma is kind of floating. I wish it was.
What's their morality? Where does the morality? If you help facilitate,
well, this is the thing.
you get a lot of good points. Do they lose your karma?
I don't know about all that. See, I still haven't watched Westworld. You watch a lot of HBO. Are you shilling for HBO?
I like all the nude.
The nudity.
I'm just kidding. What? I'm a good man.
No, but that's always been the thing. HBO has always been the premium content, so premium that there's no commercials except for other stuff that's going to happen on HBO, and it only happens in between broadcasts, and then also the just the content. You flash people a little nipple in 2008, and everyone goes crazy.
That's true. They
love a little areola on their prime time.
That's
true.
You
know what I mean? And
that's true.
Really problematic though, because when you would fall asleep watching a movie channel back in the day, if somebody walked in and then the porn had come on, then they thought you were watching the porn. So you have to use the TV sleep timer. You have to plan ahead. You got to look in the guide and say, listen, if I'm going to fall asleep watching Titan AE on Showtime, I got to make sure this TV is going to turn off after I'm asleep, but before the movie's over, so that Lord of the G-String isn't on when Grandma walks in at 4 a.m.
Lord of the G-String.
That's a real one. That was on Cinemax, brother. That's a real. The soundtrack to. Will you look this up? Who composed the score, the original score to Lord of the G-String? Can you look that up for me? Can you look that up verbatim?
Did you just?
Because I want to say it was probably open source stuff that they probably
Oh,
licensed.
here we go. Oh, of course, Jake.
I
this
would not
is
make any of this up.
wonderful.
Who did the original score for Chris? For example, this information is always interesting because the original score for the film Good Burger was done by Stuart Copeland of The Police.
Oh, that's great. Was he the guitar player?
No, he was the drummer in The Police.
Mm.
And he got into composing, and he did the original score to the movie Good Burger for Nickelodeon. Obviously in The Police's off season. Now, who did the original score for Lord of the G String, Joe?
We got production distributor. They're not really always on Showtime. Yeah, Showtime like took over all the stuff that HBO couldn't, like when HBO became.
So you're not going to answer my question?
They don't have Josh Robinson.
Okay, so who is that? What else did he do?
Let's look up Josh Robinson. He didn't have a link connected to his name, so I'm thinking this was a big break for him.
You think this was like his first thing?
Josh Robinson, composer. He probably has some really excellent music that he never got to put out.
Yeah, he's probably got a banger.
Me as a musician, yeah. I mean, so I did the soundtrack for Lord of the G Strings.
Oh, that's on his
it's
credits?
kind of like a Lord of the Rings thing, but it's
I'm familiar.
Yeah, but it's inspired by J.R.R. Tolkien. There are a lot of the composer, Lord of the G Strings.
How do you spell his name?
Man, why aren't Howard Shore level composers trying to do like shitty movies like this? Because that would be really cool. Actor and writer
Robinson.
He was an actor and writer known for Blood of the Muse, The Sexy Sixth Sense. He did all of they're all cover porn movies.
They're all
he died
porn
in 2018.
He's dead?
He didn't die in 2018. You know what happened is when porn stars want to end their career and move on, they fake a death. It's pretty normal in the porn world to fake a death. And they always sometimes comedically they'll make it very, very dramatic. So if you look up a porn star that you can't find the videos for anymore, you'll find that it'll be she died blowing her brains out with a shotgun with her director side by side. They used one shotgun and blew both of their brains out. It'll be something like that, and you'll be like, oh, this is a joke, this is fake, because they want to end their porn career. But he probably wanted to move on, so he I guess he had 44 films or something. Fantastic. How
did he die?
He didn't die, I'm guessing. They don't just tell you that, Jake. He's an unknown director.
Do you have a picture of him?
No.
Can you get one?
I'm going to find how many. Josh Robinson is the most normal name ever created.
Well, no, that's the thing. I was just searching Josh Robinson music, and there's Josh Robinson for every instrument, age, and region of the continent.
Jake, there's no way you're going to find a face to match that name.
Is that a challenge? I got a guy. I got a guy that's good at this stuff.
Get your Nigerian friend.
Yeah, let me call the Nigerian. We got to find the composer from Lord of the G String.
Stole my Facebook, but I want you to do a little job for me.
Hey, remember me? No, you can keep the Facebook. It's fine. No, it's fine. Really, it's okay. But I need you to find Josh Robinson. He's the composer on Lord of the G String. Can you get the song? Can you find the theme?
Oh, that's
that he composed for that movie, that film,
idea. Of course,
that cinema piece.
Lord of the G Strings soundtrack. They probably didn't. I'm gonna guess it didn't go. I'm gonna guess they didn't make a hard copy of it. Jake, there's no way you can find that. There's no way you can find printed porn soundtracks.
I don't want you to order it on cassette, brother. I just want to hear a second of it.
All right, I'm pulling it up I'm going to search on Spotify, but that's the end of it. This is a horrible segment.
Oh, you were awful.
Jake, what do you have?
This is a horrible segment.
I'm not going to search Lord of the G Strings on my YouTube. It's going to fuck up my algorithm.
I didn't say YouTube. Theme song.
It's getting to that point where I'm drinking and I've got to get my nose spray. Hold on.
Oh. I bet you it's in the trailer. Is there a trailer? 2003. That's a long time ago.
Did you find it?
I haven't found the song, no.
Jake, can we move on?
2003 is a long time ago.
Can we move on?
From what?
From this. I want to talk about the death penalty.
It's got an IMDb. I bet there's a trailer on the
Jake.
IMDb. Oh, you could buy it on Blu-ray, I bet.
Oh my
Amazon.
God, it's been found. Jake,
What?
our source.
What?
It's coming up. It's popping up in the Discord right now. Oh my God, you're in control of this. We found the soundtrack. Holy shit. We have a new producer for the show, but they're not going to be named.
In the Discord?
Jake, this is incredible. We have hold on.
This is,
Hold the
but I
phone.
like, you know what I really like is that I don't know who this person is, and I don't want to know because it's like a deep throat situation. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
It's like top secret. We have an anonymous source.
We have an anonymous producer. Jake, look at the Discord.
Discord here. Oh my God. Is this the song though?
Oh my God.
No. How could she possibly?
I mean,
Just listen to it.
who posted this? Why?
Joe, because this is a part of American culture. This is a part of our history as a nation. No.
You know what really
Dude, and
pisses
this is
me
by
off?
motherfucking, is this by
It's not.
Josh Robinson?
It's not bad.
So Misty Monday, Darian Gain, and AJ Khan are the ladies.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the cover of the DVD. This is the music, dog. This is the
Can't believe this has
soundtrack.
been found. Who posted
This is the
on
soundtrack.
YouTube?
You said it couldn't be done.
Yeah, I can't.
This is the theme
Are
song
you
by
playing
Josh
it on this
Robinson
podcast?
from
Jake, you
Lord
need to
of
play
the
it on the
G-string.
podcast. People need to be able to hear it. We need to awaken Josh Robinson from the dead because I know you're still fucking alive out there, Josh. Josh. Yeah, I know he's alive. He's got some great work here. This is good.
Are you okay? So here's what's crazy is because you were saying I was crazy, right?
Yeah.
You said that. You were saying I was
I
crazy
did.
for talking about this.
That's true.
But then not only did we find the song, but now you're insinuating that the composer who we could barely find, who's listed as deceased in 2018, you're saying that he's still alive secretly, like Tupac and Elvis?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. They are all still
Oh,
alive.
you
I
can't hear the
guarantee
music?
it. Huh?
Can you hear the music that I'm listening to? Because I know it's going into the stream because I'm watching the mixer here.
I've listened to it. I'm listening to it right now.
It's really good.
I mean, like, you've got some great albums like the White Album, and you've got like Abbey Road and Jimi Hendrix Experience, but
this
is
isn't that.
something that could be contributed. Like, this is like Aphex Twin, but better.
I do love Aphex Twin.
But this is better.
I'm going to riff this audio so I can drop it in the audio episode because I'm sure it'll be fine 50 minutes in for us to include a clip of... What if this is can we get the license for this to be the new theme for the show? Lion's Choice will pay for that.
It is definitely, we definitely won't be sued to play this. There's
this is
way
open.
they are.
Only
There's no way we're
1,900
going to get an
views.
email from some production company like, you can't
Lord of the G-string
use our most
soundtrack
prized
4.
jewel.
I wonder why it says 4. I wonder what else they got here. Oh, okay. So this channel seems to be all porn soundtracks, which makes sense. Now we can move on.
No,
yeah,
it
we
is
can
not.
move on. But wow, I just can't believe it. That is such an accomplishment in broadcast history. This is why we needed the phone number, Joe.
I mean, I just can't believe that. Like, I can't believe that somebody was like,
that somebody would even bother to look. See, this is why this art. This is not. We couldn't have done this in the last 3 episodes. I'm glad you made us go live because this could only happen live. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can do it live.
So I was bringing up because I can bring it home, I bet. But we were talking about how HBO was the premium content because you could see a little nudity, but you had to be careful because those premium movie channels would show dirty movies late into the evening, early wee hours of the morning.
That's true.
And so you had to, make sure that you didn't leave the movie on and then go to sleep. And then somebody walks in and grandma thinks you're watching Lord of the G String, which is a real film from Showtime, made in 2003. Original score composed by Josh Robinson, who allegedly was killed in 2018. We have no idea how. But that was 15 years after that movie. So he could have been an older guy. It could have been natural causes. Joe thinks he's still alive.
I mean, he's definitely still alive. There's no doubt in my mind. Okay, so
we gotta find him.
I've just been sent some clips from the film, and it's interesting.
It's softcore, isn't it?
I'm sending it to you right now, Jake.
I don't know that I want you to send me clips of it.
No, this is completely fair game. This is completely okay for live TV.
Is it just the dialogue?
Yeah, this is as harmless as Rico Trico, whatever his name is.
No, that's not harmless though, is the thing. It's like there's a level of
he didn't
I got the soundtrack twice.
Okay, hold on. Hold the phone.
Yeah.
Hold the phone.
I like
Go to the G-string celebration. Check this
What are they
out.
having like a party, like a Game of Thrones feast?
What the fuck? Come on. Hello. Hold on. No, it's not a feast. It's some sort of. Please.
A bacchanal?
Please update. Oh my God. Here we go.
What update?
All right. Now I've sent it. This is This is it. You can see
this
here.
is what I'm saying. Your country has Wi-Fi as a part of the problem here.
Look at this.
Look at this. Go to the Discord here.
This episode is going to be useless without video.
No. I can't show this video, even if it's. Oh no!
They're clearly in like some.
This looks like Veggie
park.
Tales.
They're in like some public park.
This
situation.
is on YouTube. VHS snippet. Oh, so this was available on VHS at one point. Lord of the G Strings Celebration VHS snip. So this was on probably Betamax.
I love the trans.
Wow.
I love the like transition scene with the CGI. It's
the
just
CGI
really,
landscape, it looked like Veggie Tales.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was like. Sorry, that's what you said.
Wow.
That's great.
Can you
have to show
those
the
clips
video, Jake.
in the description for the show episode.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll have the link so
I
everybody
have those
can
in the
see.
Discord. I'll put them in the Podbean description.
And we have actually a third seat open on the podcast. We have a producer seat open, but we also have a third seat open reserved specifically for, what's his name? Richie Patrico's.
Tony Patrico is his name.
Tony Patrico.
And I don't really want to talk to him.
Show.
You know what? He came into Guitar Center to buy some lights when I worked there, and he was just not interested in talking to any of us at all.
Well, that's not, I mean, his beggars can't be choosers. We don't know what he's interested in right now. This is a successful
I know
podcast.
exactly what he's interested in, and it cost him his job.
I
hope they pull that segment.
No, it's all, I mean, they're dedicated.
Speaking of pulling segments, Romanian authorities seize Andrew Tate's car collection as investigation continues. Is he still in the box?
Is he still what?
Is he still locked up? He was supposed to be locked up for 30 days while this investigation took place. And they seized all of his cars and his weird like bro flex tweet to Greta Thunberg about his Bugattis and shit is what got him in this pinch in the first place.
So what did he say about Greta?
Okay, so I don't remember who started it, but I saw that he had tweeted at Greta Thunberg that he had this many Bugattis and this many McLarens and this many sports cars and shit, and something about how he loved burning fossil fuels or something. And then she totally burned him in a reply about like his email address being like Tiny Dick Energy or something, and it was funny.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, but then he clapped back at her in a video And in the video, there's a pizza box. And that pizza box is to a Romanian pizza place. And so the Romanian authorities use that as evidence to confirm that he was indeed back in the country and he's wanted for something there. And so they said, "Oh, we can move on him and his home address because we can confirm that he's there."
Okay. So you're saying that? Wait. How did they get the image again?
He started a beef with a child on Twitter. And then she roasted him and said he had small dick energy. And then he clapped back in a video where he's in his robe, wearing smoking a cigar and talking to the camera. And in the shot on the desk or something, you can see a pizza box. And that
you're
pizza
saying
box,
that he was already wanted.
Shut up. Yeah, and the pizza box confirmed his location. He was already wanted for questioning or something in this accusation of sex trafficking, which I'm sure is related to his former cam girl business, which I'm sure was problematic and a nightmare. God forbid. I hope it wasn't, but it sounds like it probably could have been. And so the Romanian authorities have now seized all of his cars, which was what he was bragging about on Twitter to Greta Thunberg. Thunberg.
Which is so irritating. So the Guardian is talking about, the Guardian is like so happy. That's why it's so irritating is like how giddy like all of the, news outlets are that he's getting like, messed up, and like, and it also just
you
shows
invite that energy.
The
and
strong union
he did this to himself. If he's really like the sinister, successful dude that he acts like he is when he goes on podcasts and stuff, he should have stayed private about it because the Romanian authorities are not going to be happy when you go on an American platform and say, "Oh yeah, I live in Romania because I can pay people off and do whatever I want." Like, that's not. And he, tells everybody everything he does and the names of all of his shit. And I'm like, you don't have to be both guys. You know what I mean? You could be a quiet, successful dude, but obviously not. What?
Have you seen my screen?
I only have so many screens.
Can I not screen share? Let me screen share one more time.
I don't know why.
Look at this.
Watch stream. Let me try it. There he is. Andrew Tate detained in Romania over rape and human trafficking case. Oh, it's that serious.
So, okay. So, oh my God. I had no idea it was this bad.
Oh, it's nuts. Apparently. I didn't know. I didn't think it included rape.
Yeah, so they've been under investigation since April alongside two Romanian nationals. This is from the BBC. Okay, so they maintain their right to silence. So I guess they have similar laws about that, like America does. Yeah. This four suspects appear to have created an organized crime group with the purpose of recruiting and housing and exploiting women by forcing them to create pornographic content meant to be seen on specialized website for a cost. Okay, so here's my problem with this. Like if you put out a job description and somebody comes to the interview, you can pretty much assume that's going to be the requirement for the job, to do that thing. So like I'm forced constantly to wait tables at a restaurant. So if I chose,
well, that's obviously not the same. You're joking, right?
This is very similar, actually. I am as serious as.
I think there's probably, according to him, there's dozens upon dozens of women who did this job safely and successfully. I think there's probably also, though, people who performed that way under duress. I'm sure that happened. Whether they were forcibly kidnapped and brought there or whatever, I certainly hope that wasn't the case. But even if they came there consensually, I'm sure some of them were coerced into doing some things that they didn't want to do.
Here's what could have happened.
Which is not okay.
I could see this happening. I could see them putting out. This is in their defense. I could see them putting out the help wanted, stuff, and then somebody trying to make a little bit of money off of these women, bringing them some slaves and telling them to act cool, just act like you're taking the job, and then they're going to cash app you your income, and you're going to give me some of that to me. I could see that happen. I don't care about this man at all. But
no, well, it just seems so dumb that if any of this is true at all, the fact that he
just said, hey, he had such a public, but fighters are dumb. They're bashed in the head so much.
He's inviting confrontation, and then he's like trying to be America's sweetheart and be like, well, I was a kickboxing champion and my dad was a chess master and people need me and I know what men need to succeed and people should listen to me. And by the way, I own a casino in Romania and I can do whatever I want there. Like that seems like you're inviting unwanted attention.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like I don't understand. Like, but then again, like fighters and athletes, just like OJ, get hit in the head so many times you just can't put anything past them. They do stuff like that where they like, yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, I'm murder somebody. I'm cool.
Doing on Twitter.
Like they just, like my dad was a football player for KU and, first string. And, he talks about constantly about how, well, there's an ongoing lawsuit that I think he could have been a part of, but chose not to be. And, cause he hated all of us for wanting any sort of, inheritance. And, but he talks about so many of his friends that just lost their minds, and I think and even Chuck Palahniuk, the guy who wrote Fight Club, talks about blunt force trauma and just like what that does to the human mind. And I think that, so that could be part of it, is like part of his final, masculine move is that he's going to do all these horrible things. He's going to rape and hire slaves in his house as cam girls. Andrew Tate is, and he's also going to be super outspoken about men's rights activist things.
OJ's still on Twitter talking to his phone.
Saw that.
It's my favorite. You want to talk about some CTE, baby?
He's still on Twitter talking through his phone in jail.
Talking to his phone. He's saying, well, hey, everybody, it's OJ.
Did they have phone chargers in there?
He's not in jail.
Prison? Where is he?
Oh, I'm talking about OJ Simpson, dog.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
That's where I went when you were, making your point, which I do appreciate a great deal. And, you're so thoughtful and enthusiastic, and I love you so much.
Yeah. This reminds me of how the inner city public schools use children, use the education of children to assure their paychecks. They use the vulnerability of
in a shrinking area, like it's like it gets very cutthroat for that enrollment. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about last week. You know what I mean? That like you need a certain number of kids to make the federal funding such that a campus is viable. You know what I mean? And when thousands of people are moving out of your district every year to go to school in the suburbs, that becomes a very competitive business. And then the city schools were actually unaccredited for a long time. So, so that's a part of the thing. Your audio's not on. You did something. You muted yourself.
Did they just pay to get the accreditation back? Did the state just be like, here, have some money? And then they just paid to get the accreditation. I don't know exactly
what that process was like, but it's kind of funny. They still advertise fully accredited, which is just
that's so
hilarious.
Funny. Well,
they're like, hey, it'll count.
Yeah. And so like your school was
what school?
Removing the high school when you were asked to leave?
Well, I mean, there were just tons of us that just didn't have contracts because they were closing grades 3 through 8 on that campus, and so they didn't need the head count for that.
So it was just until 8th grade, that school.
That campus was K through 8 while I was there.
Right, and now it's like K through 5.
Now it's K through 2. It's an early childhood center, they call it.
So it reached its full potential. It's like Final Form Pokemon style, where it just is a daycare now.
Yeah. And it's only like 6 classrooms or something. It's small.
Wow.
And then everyone who was on that campus 3 through 8 just get bused to the other side of the neighborhood to the.
Well, let's think about this. Let's think about this statistically. Let's think about this. So now they have So if 20% of the staff can be uncertified teachers, and you only have what? You have pre-K, K, first and second. If you only have 4 grades, think about how many of those people can be teachers. That's just great. They don't even
it's like a fifth of them. A fifth of them are going to be uncertified. Anything. So, or if there's even going to be 10 of them,
if they can teach them how to read, if they know how to read, they have the job. That's crazy.
It's nuts. It's like that.
So they really just dumbed it down to the education like threshold of the potential workers.
Yeah.
That's great. Wow.
Yeah, and they usually can't fill all those jobs there anyway. I mean, they'll be lucky to get enough adults to make the cut, much less certified adults. I mean, it's it's a really tragic situation. I mean, it's why I abandoned my career entirely. I think I'm going to get certified in music, though. I'm going to take that test next month. I got to take it before I go deaf.
Hot Hamlin. Who's Hamlin? What? Hamlin. What? Is Hamlin the trans woman that is a...
What are you talking about?
What's Hamlin?
You have to finish that sentence. Please be clear about what you're saying.
So we got a text from our producer talk about that hot Hamlin take. Who's Hamlin?
I don't know. You should be looking at it. Quit asking me and ask your fucking machine, you rat bastard. What is it?
What? Why?
Oh, you're the worst. Maybe live wasn't a good idea.
No, this is the.
I don't think you're ready.
Best, Jake.
I don't think you understand the caliber of the platform that you're on right now, and I feel like you need to take a step back for a minute, Junior.
That's true.
Tell me what you're talking about.
I don't know. Let's see the news.
Why are you sitting like that?
Hamlin went into cardiac arrest.
Who is that?
And will not be resumed. I'm waiting on a text back. I see the little dot.
Wait, but what is? Text is being will you look written on your computer? You have Google open right now. I will drive there right now and murder you in your sleep.
Just give me 5 minutes. Don't we want to talk about Caddyshack or something? They're hiding cats in their basement.
No, they're good. It's mostly above board there.
He's a football player that got hit and went into cardiac arrest. You were talking about football.
During the game. Oh, is he dead?
There's a comment about, well, he's not going to be able to play the rest of the season, but she's commenting on the
I thought you were saying he was dead.
He's not dead.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying about you not being clear about what you just said. A guy's name 11 times. And then you said he went into cardiac arrest and he will not be able to be resumed. And
his NFL season.
Okay, but you didn't finish the sentence.
So
I thought he was dead.
Yeah, I guess he plays for the Bengals, the Buffalo Bills. Sorry, he plays for the Buffalo Bills and collapsed on field.
LA Dodgers.
Yeah, and he isn't going to play the rest of the season. But I think what's trying to draw light to is just the insane amount of I used to watch a TV show that they went into the future for the 3rd season, and football had been eradicated because of how much damage it was doing to the players' body, how unsafe it was. So they're saying he's having substantial improvement here, but I'm pretty sure that pretty much means that there's no improvement at all if the NFL is reporting on it, because the NFL just historically it's if you think about it, you know how the refs play half the game, half the game is what you can get past the refs. So there's tons of pad grabbing and just tons of fouls going on, but in order to create good entertainment, they need a rate of play. So basically this is the rate of play of the entire NFL franchise, and they can't really report on this because he doesn't want to lose his job. The NFL doesn't want to lose their position in American, entertainment. So he's probably doing horribly right now.
You think he's jammed up bad?
I mean, I'm telling you, and Dad talks about it all the time. He's like, it doesn't matter how much padding you're wearing. If you just think about the game,
the force,
unless they're in bubble suits, they have to be able to play the game. And there's just no physical way to damp down being trampled by a 400 pound of muscle 6'9" man. You know what I mean? There's no way to dampen that. And they talk about that a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, he's Dad said there's so many friends. Dad used to talk about people who he played football with that would shoot like shotguns in the hallway of the dorms because they had to dorm together. And he was like, we couldn't take the elevators. They were peeing in the elevators like every day. He's like, I just don't understand why they chose, like, why the elevator? There's a bathroom on every floor. Why? What is the elevator thing? Why is it? Why are they obsessed with peeing in the elevator?
In an elevator. I mean, if you've ever been in an elevator and had to pee, and you're hammered, and it's 4 a.m. and you're all by yourself.
But I would have at least learned. I would have at least learned of the first time. Like, it'd be like, that was really fucked up what I did. I'm gonna try to wait, or I'm gonna go pee before I get in the elevator.
People that go to college are children living on their own for the first time. They could have the maturity of a 5th grader.
I actually really empathize with that. Yeah, and they got their scholarship through football, so it's not like education or academics was really the focus of their MBA career. That's where my dad went to high school, Marybelle Academy.
What does that have to do with it?
It's like where the Dead Poets Society was based on.
You're fucking high.
I am a little fucked up. I did whiskey and vodka. The vodka made it feel like my brain was having like you need like low blood flow to your hands or something. It felt like that. I felt like that.
Why don't you let me wrap this up so we can go to bed?
Good call. I got work tomorrow.
Yeah. You got church in the morning.
That's true.
Guys, that's another episode of Jacob V Weekly. High five. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Google, whatever. Please subscribe, rate, review, or share. Every interaction helps. We have an Instagram page for the show at Jacob V Weekly where we post exclusive content, clips, and highlights and whatnot. You can contact the show with questions or topics for future discussion at jacobvweekly@gmail.com. You can call the show at 314-626-4208, or you could text us there at any time to contribute your thoughts, feelings, emotions to the show in the future. My cat just knocked my phone off my desk. He hates this show. He's furious right now. Say hi, King. You can find original music by No Antics and Blinded by Stereo on all of your favorite audio platforms. You can also order vinyl from Blinded by Stereo on Bandcamp. No Antics has shirts. Reach out to me if you want a No Antics baseball tee. There are a few left in some choice sizes. Stay tuned on the patreon.com/JacobV for exclusive upcoming content. We got tons of video and audio from the No Antics show last Friday, and we've been kind of working on all kinds of stuff. We're doing this podcast a little bit early for our rotation. We try to get 4 out a month as we're coming back in full speed, and we did that in December. We had 4, and then now we're planning on having at least that many in January, but I'm going to be gone all weekend working on a music video for the No Antics for a song of ours that you can already hear on Spotify or Apple Music or what have you. Jacob V's favorite songs on Spotify is up for January of 2023. That's like 2 years we've been doing that. The companion playlist for the show, if you need jams to listen to, really great. We did it. Caddyshack. Jacob V Weekly. High five. Wrap it up. Let's wrap it up, sister. King, say goodnight.